It's a perfect evening for soccer and for the Seattle Reign, a chance at payback. From Starfire Stadium, it's a National Women's Soccer League matchup between the Seattle Reign and FC Kansas City. And great to have you with us, everyone, along with Leslie Gallimore, the head coach at the University of Washington. I'm Tom Glasgow. Terrific evening. Glad you're with us for this matchup this evening. And Leslie, for the Reign, after 3 matches on the road, finally a chance to play their opener here.
Not only is it a beautiful night in the Pacific Northwest, after a long, long road trip, including a preseason exhibition trip to Japan, 3 straight road games for the Reign, I know they're delighted to be home, and hopefully that translates into 3 points.
Yeah, 2 losses and a tie for the Reign up to this point, so they're looking to break through. What are your impressions of this team up to this point?
You know, they're a little bit between a rock and a hard place with some of their U.S. allocated players not being available. Hope Solo with the wrist surgery, Amy Rodriguez out for the year, pregnant with her first child, and Megan Rapinoe still in France playing for Lyon. Over there. So I've been really impressed without those 3 players, and they've had all close matches. So hopefully tonight it turns into 3 points. They get it right up front and can score some goals.
A very young squad. One of the players really leading the way and does just a great job setting the tempo is Jess Fishlock, national team player for Wales.
Yeah, the Wales International, I've been ultra impressed seeing her play on tape. I've not seen her play live yet, so I'm really excited. She's a feisty player. She gets physical in the midfield. She's not afraid to go into a challenge or a tackle, can shoot from distance, and she's really kind of the veteran leader on this team it's showing.
Also coming from across the pond, that would be the head coach, and Laura Harvey did a terrific job with Arsenal, and now looking for a new challenge. She finds one here.
I've been really impressed with Laura Harvey, her demeanor, her ability to kind of take the challenge without certain players available. They've also had some injuries, but they've still done very, very well. She's a tactician, knows the game, and has them playing good soccer. I think it's the attacking piece that just needs to get right here for the Reign.
You mentioned first ever home match for the Reign, first road game for Kansas City tonight. Their last time out a week ago Friday, it was against this Reign team back in KC, Overland Park, and a 2-0 win in that one. So a very impressive start for Kansas City.
Kansas City's got a great roster from back to front. They're solid everywhere and pretty bold, but Laura Harvey last week was quoted as saying that she thinks they may be the best team in the league without seeing everyone. Again, kind of bold, so we'll see, but I have been impressed. He's got them playing good soccer, and they're dangerous and solid at the back, difficult to score on, so it'll be a tough contest for the Reign again this week.
One of their players who really kind of sets the tempo. In fact, she had 2 assists against the Reign last week, and she's a member of the U.S. national team, Lauren Cheney.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I've seen Lauren Cheney one too many times when she was playing at UCLA, mostly as a target forward for them. She's proven with the U.S. national team as a professional to be an outstanding midfielder. She's just fit, she runs, she's crafty with both feet, she can shoot from distance, she'll defend. She does it all. Lauren Cheney's a competitor, and she's a great player for them.
And the head coach for KC, Vlatko Andonovski, not a name that's maybe as well known nationally, certainly in Missouri. Very impressive resume.
You know, what I read about him, and I don't know him personally, a grower of the women's and the girls' game at the youth level, and has put together a great roster here and has been playing good soccer. So again, road test for Kansas City, and hopefully a Reign team that's coming out looking for their first 3 points, so I'm excited about this matchup.
Should be a lot of fun. We are looking forward to it, and we're glad that you're with us tonight.
Kindly ask that you please rise, remove your hats, and join us in the singing of our national anthem. Our colors tonight are presented by Joint Base Lewis McCord. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem will be performed tonight by the Singing Sisters.
And great to have you with us here at Starfire Stadium. If you're not familiar where this complex is located, just about 15 minutes south of downtown Seattle. Also the training home for Seattle Sounders FC of Major League Soccer. Let's give you the starting lineups for tonight's match. First of all, for the visiting squad, FC Kansas City. In goal, Nicole Barnhart. The back line, Leanne Robinson, Lauren Sesselman, Becky Sauerbrunn, and Merritt Mathias. Midfield, Desiree Scott, Jen Buskowski, Lauren Cheney, and Christy Lewis. And the two goal scorers up to this point this season for FC Kansas City, Shanae Farley with 1 goal and Renee Cuellar with 2 goals. She has the force early on. Your starters for Seattle Reign FC in goal, Michelle Betos. The back line of Ellie Reed, Emily Zur, Kate Dinas, and Lauren Barnes. Midfield, Keelan Winters, Jessica Fishlock, Kaylin Kyle up front, Christine Nairn, Tiffany Cameron, and Christina Larson. The head coach for Seattle, Laura Harvey. The head coach for Kansas City, Vlatko Andonovsky. Our referee tonight, Margaret Domka. Assistant referees, Deliana Kwan and Levi Rippey. And along with Leslie Gallimore, Tom Glasgow with you from Starfire Stadium. Great to have you with us this evening for the home opener for the Seattle Reign, who come into this match with a record of no wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, 1 point. They opened their season with a 1-1 draw at Chicago. The second match in front of a terrific crowd down at Geldwen Stadium in Portland was a 2-1 loss to the Thorns. And then a week ago Friday, the 2-0 loss at Kansas City. For Kansas City, a record of 1 win, no losses, and a tie. Good for 4 points. Opening up with a 1-1 draw with Portland at home, and then the home match again, the victory over Seattle. So Leslie, maybe some of the early things that we should look for in this match from both teams, at least in terms of trying to settle in and get that rhythm. That can always be a challenge.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm super excited to see this here in Seattle, and the fact that they played each other 1 week ago, I can guarantee you both of these coaches are very high-quality coaches that have made some tactical adjustments. Whether it comes out, it'll be interesting to see if they come out playing it a little bit like a chess match or if they just go after each other. So we'll see in the opening minutes how they play it.
You know, it was interesting in a conversation yesterday with Laura Harvey about her lineup. You know, you like to prepare as best you can. I said, can you give me your starters? She says, I give you 6. But the other 5 I'm still working on. So it shows you how much she is really trying to break down her squad and try to decide what that best combination is, especially with those 3 U.S. national team members missing.
Yeah, and honestly, Tom, I have to believe that with Laura Harvey, it has to do with their attacking players. They've got to somehow figure out how they can find the back of the net. She's rotated some of those players in and out. A lot of midfield type players ending up front. So it's a search for a goal scorer, I have a feeling.
And we are underway. Christy Mewis for Kansas City. And good defensive play by Seattle to clear it out of the back.
Yeah,
Ellie Reed.
I'm already having flashbacks up here in the booth, the number of players that my college team has seen. Ellie Reed, outstanding right or left back for the University of Portland, and she can get forward. So if given the chance to release, Ellie can really do some damage up the flank.
Last week's game, fairly even when you talk about possession, but when the big plays needed to be made, they were made by Kansas City.
Yeah, and I think one of the goals was a little bit unfortunate and just, loss of possession, but Seattle has proven that they can defend pretty well. Their games have been close, and again, here at home, you're hoping for them that the edge is the home field advantage and the excitement of the crowd that kind of turns the corner and gets them 3 points this evening.
You'll see a lot of number 10 involved with the ball tonight for Seattle. Jess Fishlock with that platinum blonde hair, very aggressive player, high energy, and really everything kind of flows through her offensively for this Reign club.
And as I said in the opening, she's been a player who's kind of made a mark already. She's a little bit of a veteran as far as international experience and playing in different leagues around the world, including in Australia, I think was the last place she was. But she's a little bit of a veteran on a little bit younger of a squad for the Reign.
Seattle offensively, is this a team that when it's playing the way it wants to, are we talking about a possession club? Are they a team that wants to play more direct soccer?
Yeah, I think they want to play possession soccer and try to find and pick and choose those times to get forward. Again, it's just trying to figure out the timing of who they're going to be able to play in, who's going to get their shots off. If the shots are going to come from the midfield, that's fine. They just need to figure out in their system how they're going to work that in a 4-3-3 and get their midfielders forward and close enough to goal to be dangerous.
On ball by Sauerbrunn out to midfield. There's Fishlock coming up with it, working on Lauren Cheney on that far touchline. Tiffany Cameron.
I believe Tiffany Cameron came on as a sub last week against Kansas City. She's starting here tonight, so Laura must have seen, Coach Harvey must have seen something in the week that turned her eye a little bit to get her into the starting lineup. She certainly was a standout at Ohio State. A great Canadian international, got her first caps this year with the full Canadian team, and looking forward to a good long career for her. She's a young player.
Just finished her career with the Buckeyes last year, had 21 goals, a school record, had 9 game-winning goals, and that was number 1 in the nation. So not only does she scores at the right time for her club.
Correct. And, she's got pace, but when you're looking at some of these younger players that are able to win on pace, even at the youth national team level, you hope that translates to the professional level. A lot of times, speed, flat-out speed, gets negated by the wiliness and the IQ of the defenders they're playing against, and certainly no more so than this back line with Becky Sauerbrunn and Lauren Susselman playing center back for Kansas City.
Ball off the foot of Tiffany Cameron, throw in for Kansas City. Keelan Winters, number 11, going down. The foul going against Kansas City.
Lauren Cheney is a physical player, and not necessarily in a bad way, but she is strong. And if you're going to try to hold the ball up and she's in the vicinity, you better be able to match her strength and get rid of the ball pretty quickly, because she's a tough tackler.
Christine Nairn with the flick of the ball.
Christine Nairn is another example of how they've had to look at converting some players. She played primarily as a midfield player for Penn State. As you know, was in the national championship for the NC2A this year. She's got a great strike from distance, so maybe as a forward, if they can get her in front of the goal, both-footed, she can hit it.
Ellie Reed with the defensive pressure that time against Sinead Farley. Farley with a goal against Seattle. That came off a header. The ball served in nicely off a corner kick by Lauren Cheney. And Cheney on the ball, colliding with Fishlock, and the foul will go against Fishlock, so a free kick coming up in a dangerous position for Kansas City.
Jess Fishlock, again, has made a name for herself already for being a physical player, not backing down from challenges. I think what you're going to see is that, I don't know how deserved her reputation is, but if players start to fall or they get into a tackle with her, they think they're going to get a free kick automatically. You saw her waving her hands around already, feeling maybe that was an unfair call.
Cheney overshoots the target, the goal. In goal for Seattle tonight, Michelle Betos. You mentioned the physical play, Leslie, of Fishlock. She leads the team in fouls committed with 7. She also leads the team in fouled against with 8. And that just really tells you how involved she gets with that physical style of play.
She's involved in the game. She has the ball a lot. You're playing in the midfield, sometimes against 2 and 3 players that collapse on you, so you're going to get into those matchups. I don't think there's anything necessarily ill-intended or dirty by any of it. You're just going to see it at this level where the game is extremely physical, and you've got to battle in the midfield to try to keep it for your team.
Sauerbrunn on the ball. Terrific player for the U.S. squad for this Kansas City team. And there's Fishlock. Tripped up from behind, and a free kick coming up for Seattle. And again, in a very good scoring position.
And I can tell you right away, and this is the first time I've seen Jess Fishlock play live, you can already tell that she's not only made a name for herself, but rightfully so. She's aggressive, she's involved, she wants the ball, she's going to get forward. She's got a fire in her eye. She's fun to watch.
That foul win against Desiree Scott. Fishlock lining up to take the free kick. Barnhart in goal for Kansas City. Fishlock. And right to Barnhart, who secures the ball in. Member of the U.S. national team. And back up to Hope Solo when Hope is healthy, recovering from wrist surgery here at the game tonight. Hope to have an opportunity to speak with her later on during the broadcast.
I was fortunate enough to see Nicole Barnhart quite a bit in my coaching career as well. She was a standout All-American at Stanford for 4 years, and has been a terrific teammate and training partner with Hope her entire time with the national team. You're not going to find a better citizen than Nicole Barnhart. I heard she had a great game last week. I'm excited to watch her play tonight.
Being the backup to Hope Solo, there's nothing bad about that from the standpoint that makes you one of the best keepers in the world.
And Nicole Barnhart is one of the best keepers in the world. She's had a long career. She's battled through some injuries, but she's been a stalwart in goal for the U.S., for Stanford, for the club teams that she's played for.
Oldest player on the FC Kansas City roster at 31 years of age, a volunteer assistant coach at Stanford since 2005, so she has remained very close to that Cardinal program. Kate Dinas, former player of Coach Gallimore's at the University of Washington, clearing that ball out of the back.
Kate's another one who's found a little bit different position. She played some center back for us, but is now, but mostly played in the midfield, but now she's found a spot here starting for the Reign at center back. She's capable of spraying the ball with both feet over distance. What you don't want to have happen, it's clogged in the midfield right now, is to see her go long every time. You'd like to be able to see her find those midfielders, but with Desiree Scott and Lauren Cheney in the middle for Kansas City, space is going to be limited.
Fishlock with a long ball, no teammate there to receive. Ball comes near sideline to Mewis from Scott. Buzzkowski with a lot of room. Farley with it. Finds Cheney. Far sideline trying to connect with Merritt Mathias. Unable to do so. Lauren Cheney in college, very good, I understand, at playing with her back to the goal. Is she doing as much of that at the pro level?
No, the national team has played more as a midfield player, especially in the last several years, than she has played up front. So you don't find her kind of as a target or a post-up forward. But at UCLA, she was uncanny at that. Just her strength and her ability to hold defenders off and turn and get a shot off quickly, or dish to someone else. Here you see what I was talking about with Ellie Reed going forward. She's a great flank player, good speed, great endurance. She can get up down this flank if they can find her overlapping. She can be dangerous on the cross and get them to goal.
Larson on the ball. Scott taking it away. Nicely done by Desiree Scott, but there's Fishlock getting it back for Seattle. Nice ball played out wide to Lauren Barnes.
Christina Larson, then the ball ends up out at Lauren Barnes. I'm going to get blown up on Twitter for this, but 2 more Pac-12 players. My East Coast friends can start giving me grief right now, but had to see them at UCLA quite a bit too. Christina Larson was one of those sort of underrated players at UCLA, even though she was a leading scorer for a very stacked team. I think in her junior year, but she kind of just went silently about her business and punished teams for it. She can score goals. She's strong, athletic, and if she gets a shot off, you're in trouble.
In the 10th minute here at Starfire Stadium, just south of Seattle. Mewis, 1v1 with Fishlock, and then getting some help. Nice tackle that time for Seattle by Emily Zur. And the foul going against Kansas City looked like that was Jen Buskowski. Zur with a long ball toward Cameron. And it'll be a Seattle throw-in.
So far, I think just in possession with the ball, you have noticed Fishlock a lot. I almost think in the midfield, I know she's got a lot of energy and can go all day. I think she needs to try not to do everything. Maybe be effective at the attacking part of the game and then get stuck in defensively, but definitely get yourself, as she just did, more in the shooting position, more linking with the forwards so they can be dangerous up front. Right now, she seems to be up and down the field trying to do it all.
And that can be a natural tendency when you have gone 3 matches, you're looking for your first victory, you are at home, your home opener, you know you are an impact player, and that can sometimes happen. You've got to let more of that game come to you than trying to make that work your way.
Yeah, and this team, the Seattle Rain, they've had some time, not all of them. They went to Japan for an exhibition kind of tour in the preseason. So they're coming together, but when you have a new team and a new league, it takes a little time for everyone to gel. So she, as a veteran, is trying to lead this team by example, which is great. They're all just trying to figure out how to get that fluidity. And when I spoke with her briefly a couple weeks ago, I asked her what the biggest difference is between playing with the Rain and the team she's just left in Australia and England. And she said it's just finding that fluidity of a team that's played together for a long time.
And of course, the challenge for all teams in this, all 8 in this brand new league. And the teams that can kind of find that cohesion sooner rather than later, those are the teams that obviously have the best chance to get off to that nice start and take it into one of the 4 playoff spots.
Yeah, and not having the 3 U.S. players that were allocated in Solo, Rapinoe, and Rodriguez with them, that would be 3 players that do have a lot of experience playing together. So, again, I credit Laura Harvey, I credit this team for really battling through a little bit of adversity, but at the same time, no one's going to give you points for that. You got to score goals and you got to win games.
Back-to-back turnovers as Fishlock comes up with it. Barnes looking for Cameron. Cheney keeps it in. Winters. Larson. Sauerbrunn with a defense. Nice tackle by Becky Sauerbrunn.
I was really fortunate to be able to go to the World Cup and watch it live for 3 weeks in Germany in 2011, and Becky Sauerbrunn got some minutes there. I was able to watch her in the build-up to that World Cup, and I knew, based on not only the age of the back line for the U.S., but just some of the personalities there and watching her play and how smooth she is on the ball, that Becky's going to be a force to be reckoned with as far as the U.S. team is concerned, and she's a really great defender to watch.
First corner kick of the match, it goes to FC Kansas City. Lauren Cheney to take it. And remember, this is how Kansas City got its first goal a week ago Friday against this Rain team. And that goal was put in off the head of Sinead Farley. Cheney. Dangerous ball. Oh, Betos with the save off the volley by Lauren Sesselman.
That was a great set piece by the Blues, and they, clearly the near post run to flick it back into play against the flow of the defenders and get a shot off is something that they've worked on. Michelle Betos does a great job to handle that one, not only handle it, but to cleanly catch it. And Michelle Betos, speaking of her, there's a lot of talk about Hope, and clearly Hope is a goalkeeper that everyone would like to have on their team, but Michelle has really stepped in, and goalkeeper out of Georgia has done a nice job for the Rain.
And Betos coming out. beating Cuellar to the ball. So on cue in 2009, the W League Goalkeeper of the Year. So she's really done some outstanding things professionally as well as collegiately for the Bulldogs of Georgia.
Yeah, and right now I think she leads the NWSL in saves, which isn't necessarily the statistic you want for a goalkeeper, but you don't want them to lead the league in goals against either. So the fact that she's saving a lot of the shots they're facing is a good thing. I think Seattle is hopeful to slow down the shots on goal and pick them up at the other end.
Kaylin Kyle of Seattle committing the foul. Nice crowd here this evening at Starfire Stadium for this first ever home match for Seattle Reign FC.
Beautiful night here in Seattle.
We were due. We've been waiting for some nice weather for quite some time.
Some would say overdue, but I think Minnesota got snow this week, and so did Kansas City.
They did. They left the snow yesterday, so I'm sure they are.
So for all that's
quite
to do
happy
about the weather in Seattle, there's other parts of the country that get it too.
Sesselman reversing field, nicely done. Buzzkowski. Sauerbrunn with the ball, finds her target, Cuellar. US could not maintain possession for Kansas City.
Both teams still working to try to find a little bit of rhythm here. I think Kansas City's probably strung together a few more passes a little more quickly and opened up some things in the attack. Seattle's had a couple of moments, but that's the thing that they probably want to see change here in a little bit, is to just get more of the ball.
Into the box, wide open player, the shot, Farley, deflected. Defended that time by number 2, I think, Emily Zerr preventing the goal. So back-to-back, the two best scoring opportunities in this match, both going to Kansas City, and the Seattle defense rising to the occasion.
They did rise to the occasion, but somehow they managed to leave someone open on the far post, and Lauren Barnes ended up with, I believe, 2 players to mark, and that can't happen. But with that said, they've done what they've kind of done for the first 3 games. They found out a way to defend it, and Emily Zerr did a great job of getting in behind and defending the goal line. I know it was Kate at Portland that did the same thing, clearing one off the line. Dynas. They've got to get that marking sorted out so that you don't end up with those weak side players wide open inside your box.
And that weak side player who was wide open was Sinead Farley, looking for his 2nd goal this season against Seattle. Foul going against Kansas City.
And not to go unnoticed either, a great first save by Michelle Beto. She wasn't able to hold on to it, but it was a hard shot and it went back into play, and then had to get cleared off the line.
Shading, deflecting the ball out. Reed with a throw into Fishlock. Dynas plays it back to Betos. Scoreless here at Starfire Stadium as we enter the 19th minute here in the first half. A little too long for Tiffany Cameron to track that ball down.
You know, one of the things I'm noticing about Seattle's midfield, and it's not really a negative or a positive, but I'm a huge Keelan Winters fan. I got to watch her a lot at the University of Portland. She's a great linker of the ball, and if they can find her off the back line, she can spray the ball right and left and really find seams for them to attack into. And the more that she and Jess Fishlock play on top of each other, I think the harder it's going to be for them to find each other and play make. They need to clear space a little bit for each other so Keelan can get on the ball a little bit more.
Keelan, the 2010 West Coast Conference Player of the Year. Doing research on her, did not realize her dad is a youngster, a big basketball fan, Brian Winters.
Yep, NBA All-Star.
NBA All-Star, great shooter.
Keelan was also the 2011 WPS Rookie of the Year. She's got a bright future. She's just a terrific person. She's a hard worker. And again, you know, I know they have to have a little bit of a defensive set here, but to play out of the back, it'd be great for them to be able to find either Fishlock or Winters a little bit more often to play out.
Cameron turning it over.
Again, they're trying to do that right there, trying to play through their midfield and out, but Kansas City's just collapsing in that area. They've either got to go up to their forwards and then find their midfielders underneath. but again, Fishlock winners and Kaylin Kyle are talented enough with the ball to be able to find them a little more often.
Zur turning it over. Scott for Kansas City. Collision there with Kyle. Finds Cheney. Taken away by Christine Nairn.
And that move by Christine Nairn right there, another converted midfielder. She's playing up front for the Reign, but she's outstanding with the ball, can play make. And again, I just think it's trying to find the puzzle pieces. They're all capable players. She can certainly, again, play forward and get shots off. But you see her craft there in the midfield, just playing out of trouble, is outstanding.
Farley back to Sauerbrunn. Kansas City, very patient, very methodical.
And that, you can, as long as you keep them, keep yourselves behind the ball and them, in front of you, Seattle's not going to run into too many problems. But the issue then becomes them getting confident with that much of the ball. You don't want a team to find their rhythm. Defensive running is always more tiring than attacking running, so you don't want to be chasing more than you're, being chased. So, Seattle needs to get a hold of it here and try to find some kind of rhythm themselves.
Winners unable to come up with it. And fouled from behind was Farley, fouled by, that was Kaylin Kyle.
Yeah.
Scott to the near touch line to Leanne Robinson. Sesselman sizing up the field. Quick touch that time by Cuellar, trying to connect with Cheney. And the Reign turn it back over. Buzzkowski. Nice touch that time by Lauren Cheney. And lots of room to work with for Robinson.
And weak side runners that need to be picked up as well.
Robinson and Betos coming up, hauling that in, and that one looked like it went off Fishlock.
Yeah, that's one where, Betos is trying to play a little bit quicker than her team's ready for her to play. So she's made some great saves. That's a little bit of a sign of a young goalkeeper. She just got to settle down when she makes those saves. There's an adrenaline rush, the crowd's going crazy, and then she punts the ball into the back of one of her own players. Isn't going to get you out of trouble. You just have to take a deep breath, and this doesn't look good.
First injury in this match, Christine Nairn down for Seattle. Scored the first goal in franchise history, the opening match at Chicago. You can't tell if we're talking maybe a knee to the thigh, or hopefully not in her case, something dealing with the knee. Get another look at it.
I think, was that Sesselman? I think Sesselman maybe just came in behind and hopefully just caught her with a knee to the thigh, or hard to say. Don't want to speculate. But let's go back to the kick by Betos.
Yeah.
And again, young keeper, good keepers, already made more saves than Nicole Barnhart's been called on to make. But she just needs to take a deep breath, push the team out, figure out where their forwards are, and try to be the first line of their attack, which is to distribute as cleanly as you possibly can.
Another angle on that injury. It was Sesselman who came up from behind, number 14.
Good to see her getting up. Hopefully she can walk this off and it's nothing too bad. At the 23-minute mark, it would be too bad if Christine Nairn had to go out of the game already. Looks like she's trying to walk it off. Maybe they'll just call her back on. That's the hope anyway.
Sesselman coming over, apologizing for the hit, although if there was anything overly aggressive in that play, she just kind of caught her at a bad angle.
Yeah, she kind of came up from behind and she was twisting a little bit. It's kind of a standard physical tackle. But these players are all they all know each other. They're all really good friends and good sports, and they all want to win as much as the next person, but nobody wants to see anybody get injured.
So, Leslie, the way this game is flowing right now, with Seattle, at least for the time being, playing with 10, what's the best approach for them right now?
Well, I mean, it's the approach they've been taking. Their line of confrontation defensively has been about the half line, so they're not pressuring them high up the field. They're trying to get in behind the ball. If they're trying to counter, it hasn't been that successful so far. So right now, they can't afford to send too many people forward. They've got to sit and stay behind the ball and just try to keep it and maybe try to spring somebody quickly. She's come back on now, which is a good sign.
Cheney with a target. That's Mewis. Terrific ball by Lauren Cheney.
That's standard Lauren Cheney, a 60-yard switching ball on a dime.
Cuellar unable to get ahead on it. There's Cheney, and Betos comes up with the ball.
And now she's done what I've said she needs to do. Just settle down, let the team get out, distribute it to one of your backs, and then you play out. Lesson learned.
Larson, 3 Kansas City players near her. They come up with the ball. Sauerbrunn to Cheney, looking for Cuellar.
You know, that's the person I'd say for Kansas City that hasn't seen the ball or had as many opportunities I thought I would see her have based on how good I know she is and how she's been playing up to this point. But Renee Cuellar was also in the Pac-12 conference, started out at the University of Arizona, then transferred and spent her last year at Oklahoma, where she was the Big 12 Player of the Year, I believe, or Offensive Player of the Year. She's Mexican internationals, played at the youth level and with the full team. Crafty, quick, is a finisher. So if she's given one opportunity, she could easily score 1 goal, and she hasn't really been given that opportunity yet tonight. So credit the Seattle defense for that.
2 goals this season for Cuellar. In fact, the first ever goal in National Women's Soccer League history scored by Renee Cuellar. So
no one can ever take that away from her.
She will have that. Ended her college career at Oklahoma, Leslie mentioning starting at Arizona. Winters and Buzzkowski toe-to-toe right there. It'll be a throw-in for Seattle. Farley with a long ball directed toward Cuellar. Throw in Kansas City. 28th minute here at Starfire Stadium, the home of the Seattle Reign, and we are scoreless. A rematch of a game played a week ago Friday in Overland Park, won by FC Kansas City 2-0. Kyle.
You know, Christina Larson did a really good job of holding the ball up that time, and I was just about to mention that that's what has to happen for Seattle. When the ball comes out to their forwards, they got to be able to hold it in that middle third of the field and play it back to their midfield and then spring another forward out. And they've been playing a lot of square balls or turning them over. That one, Christina Larson did hold, and then they ended up going back twice with it as opposed to trying to find someone forward. And that's just going to be difficult all night for them to break down their defense if they're not trying to penetrate.
And Leslie, is it a combination of things? The combination, one, being of a new collective group coming together, not knowing each other? Is it Coach Harvey trying to figure this out with maybe players in positions that they wouldn't consider their strengths, as we get a nice run going here for FC Kansas City? Cleared out, but Scott comes up with it and takes the shot. Betos. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it might be a combination of things. Part of it is that Seattle's midfield is having to do a lot of work on the defensive side of the ball now, so they've got to do it on both sides or they're going to be defending all night. They've got to be able to get up underneath those forwards that are holding the ball up and connect with them. And, again, that part of that is probably getting used to playing with one another, but they should know their roles, and they're good enough players that they're capable of doing that. Kansas City, credit them, are just making that a little difficult right now. They're tough in the center of the midfield. Like I said in the pregame broadcast, is Laura Harvey herself said that she thinks that this FC Kansas City, this Blues team, may very well be the best team in the league.
Yeah.
A bold statement this early on, but they're certainly staunch defensively, and they're athletic. When they got the ball, they can keep it.
First yellow card of the match, that goes against Ellie Reed as she was mixing it up with Mewis. Get another look at it. Reed just yanking her down by the hips. That's a pretty easy call for
there's a lot of people listening, if they're not actually watching the broadcast, that might think that you said that wrong if it was Ellie Reed getting the yellow against Christy Mewis, but I saw it with my own eyes too. She did. Ellie Reed deserved a card on that when she pulled her down.
Sesselman into the box, dangerous ball, it's loose. Like Dynas may have played it out. Kate Dynas really has a knack near that goal line of being in the right place at the right time. The game they played at Portland, Kate took a ball right off the goal line and saved a goal in that match. Very heads-up player.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and there's, I think she's available tonight, talking about attacking players and the lack of them for Seattle. Just natural forwards is Lindsay Taylor from Stanford has been out with an eye injury, but she's finally been cleared to play, and it really would be good at some point in time to see her tonight if she really is fit and healthy and available, because she's also a special player.
Good anticipation by Reed. Over to Winters. Fishlock
That's
ahead
a great
to Cameron.
switching ball.
Yep. Nice cutback. Long shot. Maybe a bit overly optimistic that time by Tiffany Cameron.
Yeah, that's a young player shot, I call that.
Yeah.
That might have scored a goal at Ohio State, but you're not going to score against Nicole Barnhart standing on her line from that distance, curving it. Maybe driving it, but you know, it's good to Seattle get up on the forward end there and see Jess Fishlock with a good switching ball, and that's what you need to see more out of their midfield, is opening up their attack a little bit more and spraying the balls to those three forwards they have.
Barnes will throw in. Right in front of the Reign bench. Scott and Fishlock contending for that ball in the air. And that will go against Fishlock. She got the foot a little too high in the air, and she may be getting a card, and she does. Yellow card for Fishlock.
Here's something I'm a little bit embarrassed by, and maybe someone in the room can help me out, but I'm not quite sure what the yellow card accumulation rule is in the new league. I'm guessing it's probably somewhere around 5, and she's now in game 4 sitting on her third. You have to be careful with that. She gets a second yellow in the game. Obviously, it's a red, and we're playing shorthanded, the Seattle Reign. So she's, you know, again, she's a good player, but she needs to get that in check and understand what that means to the rest of the team and the rest of the game.
Into the penalty area, Cuellar. And that's going to be a corner for Kansas City. This will be taken by Lauren Cheney. Second corner kick of the match.
For the great goal scorer that Lauren Cheney is, you think, why the heck is she out on the corner? But she takes a mean corner kick. She gets that ball right where she wants it, far post. Betos comes fishing for it a little bit. Fortunate there was more Reign players in that area than there were Kansas City players.
Robinson playing it over to Buzzkowski, now down the far sideline. Here's Cuellar, dangerous position. Betos right where she needs to be. Not as clean defensively as Seattle would have liked. Kyle with a header. Larson out to Nairn.
It's a great ball.
Looking for Cameron. And that'll lead to a corner kick. The ball played out by Buzzkowski.
And the Seattle crowd comes alive. That's what they're looking for. A little bit of attacking by the Seattle Reign and some shots on goal. Give the crowd something to be excited about. Goalkeeper saves are one thing, but everyone likes to see goals for. So be good to see sort of against the flow of play. Seattle get one here and go up.
First corner in this game for Seattle. Fishlock to take it. Good ball. Nairn plays it back out to Fishlock. And Barnhart scoops it up for Kansas City.
Great couple chances there for Seattle. They're retreating on defense now. They've got to prevent the counter, so they've got back behind the ball, which is good. A little bit more of that, the linking up with the midfielders, the playing, you know, kind of in the spaces behind their back, in Kansas City's back line to spring players. It doesn't need to be a one-time home run ball. They've got enough ability on their team to be able to knock it around and spring people selectively.
Becky Sauerbrunn going for the home run ball that time. Unable to connect with Mewis. Scott comes up with it.
And that you see just, Christina Larson's head goes back, Nairn's head goes back. They're both a little frustrated by the lack of just the simple possession, kind of the miscue. She wanted it to feet, Nairn played it a little off to her right. And now Kansas City has the ball back. Those are the things that have to get cleaned up by Seattle, just period.
Great play by Reed, but called for the handball. And the quick start by Buzzkowski. Over to Scott, to Cuellar. Reed comes up with it for Seattle, out to Nairn.
Great touch by Kaylin Kyle. Keelan gets it. Like to see that ball go out the other side. Lauren Barnes needs to be ready for that to come to her. Now we're stuck back on this side.
Reed battling Cheney, wins that 1v1 situation. Sauerbrunn was strong on that first touch.
And a bad turnover.
Tiffany Cameron.
And here you see her
speed.
pace. And a corner for Seattle. Yep.
Second corner coming up.
A little ambitious by Becky Sauerbrunn to try to come out of the middle like that. Did have a little bit of a stiff touch and almost got punished for it. Maybe she will get punished here on the corner kick. Here's what I know another Tom in the room and I would like to see is a hometown girl, Kate Dynas, stick this one on a corner. What do you think, Tom?
Yep.
Getting the thumbs up from the left-hand side of the press box here. You got her high school coach and her college coach sitting in the same room.
Played locally at Issaquah High School, on to the University of Washington. Very good in the air. Winners tried to flick it on.
I don't know if that was a set
kick.
play or not, but it was kind of low, not very well driven by Fishlock to the near post, and Winners just tried to backheel it. I think we can be a little bit more dangerous on corners than that. And there's my plug for you, Kate.
Into the 37th minute. I imagine a very coachable player.
Very coachable player, one of the best. Her mom and dad were able to get here tonight. It was a question if they were going to be able to be here or not. Her grandma has been ill, and they've been, taking care of her and watching her through her treatment. So shout out to the Namster as she's watching online. I think they got her set up at home, and her mom and dad, Betsy and Matt, were able to make it tonight, which is great.
Absolutely. Throw in for Kansas City. Robinson will take it.
Leanne Robinson's a player that's been around the leagues. She's played for the Gold Pride in Northern California, the Beat. She went back to Philly, and now she finds herself in Kansas City. Great player out of the University of San Diego. Very athletic, can get up and down the flanks. Good ball handler, can be really dangerous in the attack for teams, and she's a good defender as well.
Buzzkowski getting some pressure. And Seattle trying to counter here. Unable to do so. Dynas will chase it down. Nice switch to the near sideline to Reed.
That's one of the great things about Kate. She can switch it over distance with either foot. Doesn't matter, she can get it to you.
Kansas City pressure forcing Seattle back toward its own goal.
Yeah, that's the difference between how both teams are playing defensively right now. Kansas City's definitely pressing, right away. They're pressing right onto Seattle's back line, whereas Seattle has tended to drop off to the half line and defend the half. And after a 2-0 loss last week, I think they're trying probably not to necessarily play for a tie, but not to give up anything, at least in the first half. And you've noticed here in the last 5 minutes, and this could very well be by design, that Coach Harvey has them looking at the clock and saying, we're going to sit back, but those last 5-10 minutes, let's get after them a little bit. And I don't know, whether by design or not, Seattle's had a couple opportunities, which has been great to see.
Nothing subtle about that last fall by Kaylin Kyle. Farley gets ahead on it. Larson. And it'll be a throw in for Seattle. 39th minute here at the Starfire Stadium, Starfire Complex, just about 15-minute drive south of downtown Seattle. First ever home match for Seattle Reign FC.
Well, Seattle defensively has been good, and over the last maybe 10 minutes or so, you haven't seen Kansas City string together as many passes as they were in the first, say, 20 minutes, which is a good sign for Seattle. If they can even out the possession a little bit and create 1 or 2 opportunities and put Kansas City on their heels, I think this game is a winnable game for them.
Cuellar. Foul from behind.
I think Emily Zurr tried to pull up late there. She knew she was kind of going up her back a little bit. Wasn't able to slow down her momentum, and she nicked her. It wasn't a tough foul. It was just, maybe not the smartest one to give up. It gives Kansas City another free kick, and they can be dangerous on these.
See if this ball is played in the area of the far post. Headed out nicely by Seattle. Sauerbrunn. Lewis. Looking for Cuellar. Reed.
That's Seattle, the back line. They're getting very comfortable playing inside their own 18 around the 6-yard line, clearing balls out. The good news is they're facing forward. They're not caught facing their own goal, which leads to own goals. So they've done a good job of clearing things out.
Nice ball, Fishlock to Cameron. And chased down by Buzzkowski. Trying to take on 2 KC players, and good defense that time by Kansas City.
Yeah, that's a strong tackle by Buzzkowski. That's Tiffany Cameron with her pace, and now she's just got to find a way to get something off a little sooner.
Fishlock. Good attempt there, driving it low.
Good ball movement by Seattle. Like I said, 5 minutes to play. It would definitely be considered against the run of play if Seattle went up 1-0. 1-0 here. Fishlock just needed to steady herself a little bit before she shot that. I think she knows that. You can see the hands went to the head right away. She's very capable of getting that one on frame.
Fishlock with a goal this season. That came in the second half at Portland. Christine Nairn, the only other Reign player to score.
Rumor has it we're going to have some guests here pretty soon. We have people holding babies. We've got people with babies in belly. We've got people that are just married. Who do we have? We have all kinds of special guests.
As if we'll be conducting a birthing class, but I think we'll stick mostly with soccer at halftime, as we have some U.S. national team members making their way to join us at halftime.
I'll date myself and say it's like the old Batman and Robin, the real one, not the cartoon one, where you have the Batman and Robin scaling the side of the building and the little cameo appearances out the windows.
Very good.
Do you remember that song? If I'm dating, please say yes.
Yes. I'm always here. I'll never throw you under the bus. Farley. Lot of room for Buzzkowski.
Seattle still playing sort of in that low-pressure system, trying to defend the half of the field. Certainly don't want to give one up one late in this half, or as well as they defended in the first half. They've kind of stifled Kansas City as of late. And you'd like to see it going at least even at halftime.
Robinson with a throw-in. Not on the same page that time with Farley, but another opportunity for FC Kansas City. Farley. Fishlock plays it out. Sesselman. Near sideline. Robinson with a lot of room to work with. Cheney. Kyle trying to deny her, does a good job. Ball played behind the goal. Goal kick coming up for Michelle Betos.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see a couple of things at halftime from both coaches. One, do they make any personnel changes? Is there anything else the Seattle Reign can do, either from their midfield or up front, to generate more? If we're going to see anybody else, there's no one warming up currently. Whether they do that at half or look to change, that'll be the question for either team. I think Kansas City will probably stay the same, and maybe Seattle will too. Tactically, that's the next question. Will there be adjustments? Kansas City's already pressing, trying to get after Seattle. Seattle is set back.
Like that may have been
Sat
a
back
foul
a little
on
bit.
Scott, but no call. Fishlock going down. Ball played to Cuellar. Betos coming off the line to scoop it up. Nice job by Michelle Betos. We saw the speed of Cuellar.
Very good. And Seattle has sat back a little bit. Will they come out and try to press more in the second half will be the question, or are they comfortable kind of defending out of that low-pressure system?
Into the 45th minute.
I will say here, and there's probably some people that'll, oh, the wave. For those of you that don't know, the wave has started here at Starfire. The wave originated at the University of Washington at Husky Stadium, I believe back in the 70s. It's a little known fact, but it's true. Look it up on places other than Wikipedia. You'll find it, factual.
Look at you out bragging about your university,
Yeah.
the purple and gold.
It's a great place to brag about. But Jess Fishlock, I was about to say, that last foul on Desiree Scott, which was a non-call, you know, when you start to be a player that gets a little bit of a reputation, like Jess Fishlock has already seems to have with the yellow card she's been given, is...
Throw in for Kansas City. Winners turning it over.
So I
Kyle
hope
with it.
I hope what my point was. I hope Jess Fishlock doesn't. It's not deserved that she starts to not get calls against her, just because she's been parted herself.
Now into added time.
Fishlock making a run out of midfield there, wanted that ball badly.
Near side to Reed. Again, Dynas with the switch and a nice one.
Keelan doing what she does so well, which is to keep the tempo of the game up by playing 1 and 2 touch, just bouncing the ball around to try to find a place for Seattle to play in. And you see Lauren Barnes there with a miscue. Again, an unforced turnover. Those are the things at this level that have to be cleaned up. Just can't have unforced turnovers. Or they have to be very limited, let's just say that.
Laskowski playing it ahead to Cuellar. Winters for Seattle. To Larson. Reed with some room. Maybe one last opportunity here in the first half for Seattle. Scott with the hard tackle on Larson.
Larson's got to find Keelan back really quick. She's only going to have 2 touches there. She's got to play it back to her, find the midfield, and then we go back through. Very good tackle by Desiree Scott.
Cheney with Fishlock coming from behind. Nicely done by Lauren Cheney. Mewis. Left foot. Deflected that time by Barnes. Margaret Domke checking her watch.
You have to figure with the injury to Nairn was about the only thing. We haven't had any goals, so that was the only stoppage, maybe a couple of minutes. But we have to be in the waning seconds here, I would guess, of this half. I'll tell you, I think Seattle will be pleased to go in. Maybe up.
Barnes serves it in. Cameron. Good defense by Kansas City that time.
Yeah, that was an outstanding tackle by Sesselman. Good timing, great run across the box, and a good service. Betos, having learned her lesson, is going to slow the game down, eat the clock. And we go into halftime with a draw.
Halftime whistle here at Starfire Stadium. 0-0 draw between Seattle Reign FC and FC Kansas City. Great to have you with us on this Saturday night from just south of Seattle as the Reign seek their first ever victory in NWSL play. Kansas City hoping to remain unbeaten as they come in with a win and a draw, and that victory coming a week ago Friday at home against the Seattle Reign. Well, Leslie, just let's, before we introduce one of our guests, and we'll have a few coming by at halftime, just your impressions of the first half overall.
You know, it started out as a little bit of a chess match, but Kansas City was pressing and had the better run of play for the most part, and Seattle did what they've been doing up to this point, which is they defended very, very well, didn't give up anything. They go into half at 0-0. They've got to be happy with that. I do think they started to press a little bit more at the end, ended up with a few opportunities, and like I said, that may be very well have been by design. Keep it tight and then go after them for the last 5 or 10. They didn't nick one, but they also didn't give one up, so I think they've got to be pleased. Kansas City at this point, on the road, probably happy with 0-0, but probably going in thinking they should have had a goal.
The person to your left, I think we're all a little
geez,
bit
Hope.
familiar with.
Guys.
Hope Solo, good to see you, Hope. Nice,
good to be here.
nice to
Thank
have
you.
you stopping by. Look, give us your impressions of your team. You haven't had an opportunity to play with them
I have
yet,
not
but what'd
had
you think?
You know, I haven't had the opportunity to play, but what I've seen from the head coach, she's a leader in her own right, and I'm proud and I'm excited about that. I went down to Portland, got to see him play in Portland. I thought it could have been easily an equally matched game, could have been a tie, so I'm impressed, and I'm excited to see what they can do here tonight.
Reason you are not playing, of course, wrist surgery. Tell everybody, first of all, which wrist, how you're doing, how's the rehab coming along?
It's my left wrist. I'll be back in probably about a month. I'm hoping for a first camp back with the national team probably around June 15th. Maybe back with my Seattle Reign team mid-June, end of June.
In general, how are things going? Soccer and everything else? We see you dancing with the stars. I mean, Hope Solo's been everywhere. The book.
Dancing with the Stars seemed about 5 years ago.
No, not for people who love that show. But how have you been spending your time?
Since then, life has been great. I got married in November, got 2 new puppies, been enjoying life here in my hometown of Seattle, and just really enjoying life. Can't wait to really get back into the gear of playing with my home team of Seattle, but also with the national team. I can't wait. We have qualifying next year, followed by the World Cup, followed by the next Olympics.
How difficult is it when you so desperately want to play, and we all know what a fierce competitor you are, and it's something that's physically keeping you away from that?
I've learned a lot in the last couple of years, especially with shoulder surgery, so I think I'll be doing all right. Wrist surgery, I'm only out for 4 months. It's not the end of the world.
Tell everybody what this person meant to you at the University of Washington. You came over from the Tri-Cities area in Eastern Washington. Speaking of probably seeming like a long time ago, Dancing with the Stars when you were at college. At the UW playing for Coach
Gallimore. Do you want me to drop a tear and get sentimental, or how about we leave it short and simple?
I'm going for that Barbara Walters moment.
Yeah, Barbara.
Feel free to lie.
Well, I'm not
Talk
going to
about
lie,
playing
but
for her.
I truly would not be where I am today if I had not committed to the University of Washington and had I not been coached by Leslie Gallimore and Amy Griffin.
What did she do specifically to make you, or at least set you on course as a world-class keeper?
She not only taught me how to be a great player, a great teammate, but a great role model and a great person off the field. And I think to be successful in life, it's not just about on-the-field performance, it's about off-the-field character.
You mentioned national team, you have this team. Tell us where you think what the status is right now for this national team in terms of gearing up for the next major competition.
Yeah, Tom Sermani, he came in. I'm so excited to play for him. Unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of experience playing for him because I have been injured, but he seems like a breath of fresh air, a great leader, brings something different to the team, and I think you need that every 4 years. And we have qualifying next year. So I don't know what he's going to bring, but all I know is defense wins games. They kept us in this game tonight, but surely we should have the best offensive team in the world by 2015.
Leslie, what were your impressions of Hope when you were recruiting her out of the Tri-Cities area? What did you see, and what were your expectations for her?
You can lie.
I'm not going to lie. Amy and I both knew Hope well before college age. We knew her as a youth player from about 14 and 15 on. And much like now, I mean, Hope's always been a big personality. Not necessarily good, not necessarily bad, but just a big personality. And I think some people would say a little bit about the same about me. We always thought that she was, a tremendous athlete, any sport. She could compete and play in any sport. We thought she was maybe one of the last remaining tomboys out there, those kids that could just, lace up the boots and go out and play with the big kids. And I told her, I said, between your name and how you play in goal, you could be a star, and I sincerely meant it. And she's done beyond that, and we couldn't be more proud of the person she's become, the goalkeeper that she is, and continues to set the bar for all goalkeepers on the women's side. And so, for us to have her back here in Seattle, we're bummed she's hurt, but I also know the craziness of her life and the World Cups and everything else. It's not bad for her to have a little breather and be able to ease her way back into this, just like it was her shoulder surgery. She probably came back too soon. So to be able to rehab her shoulder even a little bit now, as well as her wrist, and come back full force, it will be good for her and for the team.
That's why I asked about being out due to injury, because I can see Hope as being someone who really, if they say you're going to be out 12 weeks, you're going to find a way to try to make it 8 weeks. Is that true?
Well,
At least try to.
After
so you've got to be
shoulder
slowed
surgery,
down.
it should have been an 18-month recovery, and I got back in 9 months. With wrist surgery, there's no qualifying, there's no World Cup down the road. I'm going to get back as healthy as I can be before I step on the field.
Very good.
I'm responsible in my older years,
Your older years. So, okay, well, how many? Since you said you're in your
here we
older
go.
years.
When are you going to retire?
Oh, no, not at all. When is Leslie going to retire? No, I'm kidding.
Hey, that's how I get stuck sitting up here. People are pushing me to, I think. I don't know.
Hope, thanks so much for stopping
Of
by.
course, it's
We
good to be here.
appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you on the field, not only with the Reign, but with the national team as well. I think a couple of matches coming up with Korea. Is that what you're targeting?
Well, let's focus on Canada first. That's going to be a great
Oh,
rematch
okay.
played
Got
in
it.
Canada. I won't be at that game, but
Okay.
my first game back will be South Korea, I hope,
Very good.
as long as Tom Sermani brings me in.
Good to have you back in Seattle.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy
Good
your
to be
time
here.
here
Thanks,
tonight.
Absolutely.
Love you,
Thanks,
Hope.
Leslie. Love you too. Little sentimental
Solo.
moment.
Enjoy the second half.
Hope Solo good enough to join us. We've got
And-
another special guest heading our direction.
The
in
cavalcade of
just a
stars
moment.
continues.
It's a terrific thing.
We have
to,
someone
meet
else that's
some of
on
these
a sort of a
players.
timeline here. My friend Amy Rodriguez, otherwise known as A-Rod.
Hi.
And I've been wanting to say this for like a whole week. An A-Rod that Seattle can embrace. Right? She's going to be the new and improved A-Rod. So
Yeah.
I hope so.
I was super pumped that you got allocated to the Seattle team, and then come to find out you're going to have a baby.
Yes.
Also super excited for you. So tell us a little bit about kind of the turn of events and what your expectation is. What do you do, first of all?
Baby's coming in August, and like you, I was equally just as excited to be joining the Seattle Reign, and then
you go.
life took its course.
Happens.
My husband and I were expecting our first baby, and
Yeah.
that's a little boy.
Oh,
so
yay.
yeah, we're excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But right now the plan is to obviously sit out this season, can't play, but hopefully make my way back for next year.
Great. Well, I was fortunate enough, and I'm going to give him a shout out, Papa Rodriguez. I got to hang out with your dad during the 2011 World Cup, and so I'm going to give him a little shout out just in case he's watching online.
He's loving it.
But it was fun for me. I got to sit next to him quite a bit in Germany. My seats just ended up near him somehow. It must have been Solo Rodriguez, RS.
Yeah.
But I got the solo ticket, so he's an entertaining guy and certainly a big fan of yours. People are going to get sick of hearing this, but there's a lot of Pac-12, Pac-10 players out on the field right now.
Yes, there is.
And you're another one that I probably saw a little bit too much of. Tell us just a little bit about soccer from your college days till now and sort of where it's taken you and your hope of what you still want to do, either with the national team or professionally.
Well, I went to USC, Southern California, and played my 4 years there. In my junior year, we played for the national championship, where we won, and it was the school's first national championship, so that was
It
exciting.
was the conference's first national championship. for
We
soccer.
were very proud to do so, and that's where Pia Sunhagi saw me, and she brought me into the national team. That's kind of where my national team career kind of kick-started.
Yeah.
So I was really fortunate to get that kind of exposure. Got brought in, got named to the 2008 Beijing roster, and then from there my career kind of took off.
You were in
And
Philly? Where were
I
you?
played for Boston the first year in the WPS, and then I played for Philly the next 2 years. And now I'm here up in Seattle.
Awesome. Well, good luck with the baby. Anything
Yeah.
else from you, Tom? We can't wait to have you here.
Well,
Likewise.
a couple things, and this certainly would have been a question for Hope as well, as veterans who have been around this game. This is the third attempt
Yes.
to get women's professional soccer established. What are your thoughts on this model and optimism that Amy, the third time, will be the charm?
You've always heard third time's the charm. I was just talking about this earlier. As a player, I've wanted for this league to take off so badly, and each year when it has its ups and downs, it's tough to live through. But I think seeing tonight, seeing all the fans out here, the excitement, watching the soccer, I think that this is going to hopefully be a turning year for us.
Now, she talked about, Leslie did, about how maybe she saw too much of you down at USC. Did she recruit you?
I believe I was recruited to Washington.
Yeah,
Did she
we
recruit
tried.
you hard enough?
I don't know.
Was it something
No,
about the
you're
rain?
not.
What
No,
was it?
no.
How could you say no to Leslie
She was this
Gallagher?
little. I'm from Southern California, I'll have you know. But everyone. I think you were kind of a SoCal gal.
It was going to be hard to leave.
Was it gonna be
She was
tough?
kind of. With those kids, when you kind of feel that, you move on to the next one. So.
But I do have a lot of family up here in Seattle, family, friends, and my husband's family.
Okay, I should have recruited her harder.
Well, my husband's family now, I realize I have more family up here.
But I'll tell you
Place to
what,
raise a family.
Amy Griffin and I both said this when we were in Germany touring around in RV for the World Cup. It was so fun as coaches to not have to be coaches and to go as fans and to root for these guys that we always had to kind of play against, but just to be on their side. And they're wearing the American jersey, and we get to root for them, knowing what good competitors and great players they are. To see so many of them that we've had as opponents and kids on our own team succeed, it's a thrill.
Absolutely.
Well, we're happy to do
Well,
so.
we'd love to see you this year. We understand. It's not a bad choice to start the family. We look forward to waiting a year and seeing you back next
Well,
season.
thank you very much.
Thank
Looking
you,
forward
Amy.
to it as well.
Thank you so much. Amy Rodriguez, Hope Solo, kind enough to join us at halftime, and pleasure to have them on. We may have a a few guests along the way as well in the second half. We are at halftime at Starfire Stadium, just south of Seattle. Seattle Reign, FC Kansas City are scoreless. We'll take just a momentary break, and we'll rejoin you in just a few moments.
We can do stuff now.
Welcome back, Starfire Stadium, as we get ready for the
month.
second half
look
between
great.
Seattle
Good
Reign
job.
FC and FC Kansas City. We are scoreless at the break. Tom Glasgow, along with University of Washington head coach Leslie Gallimore. The Reign back out on that. Check it, it's actually Kansas City, which is back out on the field. We're waiting for the arrival of the Reign. And Leslie, before we get the second half underway, just your impressions. Let's talk about the Reign first. and some of the things that they're going to need to adjust in the second half to have the success they need, and that means putting the ball in the net.
Yeah, like I said, it'll be interesting to see if they do come out and press a little bit more and try to get forward as opposed to just countering. They did there for the last 5-10 minutes start to defend a little higher up the field, which enabled them to spring a couple of players. But again, this is a team they lost to 2-0. The Reign have struggled to find that kind of flow in their attack, missing a few attacking players that have either not been available or that they just don't have on their roster. A lot of converted midfielders playing up front. Laura Harvey still, she'll try to do some coaching magic to try to figure out where that's going to come from, where those goals are going to come from. So again, where they kind of decide to defend will be interesting to me to see.
And potential adjustments for Kansas City in the second half.
I don't think they're going to change too much. I think they got the rhythm early on in that game, and I think they're going to try to keep the rhythm and get after Seattle a little bit quicker than they did in the first half.
Seattle Reign returning to the pitch here at Starfire Stadium. Great to have you with us on this Saturday evening. We understand we have a number of Kansas City fans. They are watching at Football Club Kansas City, a viewing party. So thanks to you folks for joining us. They are certainly hoping that their club remains unbeaten and getting a victory on the road in their first road match of the season. I'm also told that as of about 15 minutes ago, all pizzas are half price.
Nice.
At
In
Football
Kansas City.
Club Kansas City. If you deliver to Seattle, just let us know.
Sure.
Hey, we have another special guest with us, so let's just keep the cavalcade of stars coming on through.
I know,
This
this
is
has been
terrific.
outstanding. I really honestly don't think anyone's had this kind of stardom in their live web stream. So kudos to Seattle. We're joined by national team player, Portland Pilot standout, another person I saw way too much of in my college coaching career. She did play on the Sounders Women's W League team last year for a brief stint. And we're joined by Stephanie, former Lopez, Stephanie Cox, who has just given birth to a baby girl about a month ago.
Yep, Kaylee
Welcome,
Nicole.
Steph.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Glad
so
to
how
be
are
here.
things going? How's motherhood?
Oh, wow. It's the toughest thing I've ever done by far.
Wait, tougher than soccer, tougher than fitness?
Yeah.
What are your impressions of the crowd and the team and the game so far tonight?
Oh my gosh, just driving into the stadium, the atmosphere is awesome. Trying to find parking, you knew it was going to be a great night. The weather is perfect for this first home game, so really fun.
Good. We'll talk a little bit about the league in general, your potential comeback, and what your hope is.
Yeah, I'm just excited that U.S. Soccer just realized and just wanted to support this league. And, the U.S. national team has been doing great, and it was fun to watch them last year with the Olympics. And, so I'm just glad that this league is starting off looking good. A lot of talent with all the Mexican players and the Canadian players. So I'm excited to get back.
And so what do you think that timeline looks like? Not really throwing it out there? You don't have to if you don't want. I don't want to press you on it.
I'm working hard, but I'm not sure quite, figuring it all out with the sleepless nights.
I was just going to say, the nights the baby sleep, oh, I'm going to play tomorrow. When she doesn't sleep, I'm never coming back.
Yeah, but coming to the game and watching it play, I think is inspiring, hopefully, for me to get out there sooner rather than later.
Does the baby put those, what you once thought were really difficult training sessions in perspective?
Yeah, definitely labor and delivery was, put the beep test to shame, so.
Well, stick around with us for a few minutes as we get things going here in the second half.
Well, and I also think that's a pretty good segue to our next guest, the ultimate soccer mom.
Yes,
I have
sure.
standing right behind me over my right shoulder, peering over my shoulder, a very good friend of mine. I was very fortunate to be an assistant coach at Cal Berkeley as she played her entire 4-year career there when my career ended, and she, a few years later, joined me as a fellow Hall of Famer at Cal, world-renowned, 2-time World Cup winner, multiple Olympics, soccer mom of the century who made it look so easy having 3 kids and playing that she made these guys think they could do it with their eyes closed. Not the case. We're joined by Joy Fawcett. Joy, welcome.
Hello.
Seattle.
Glad to be here. Yeah, it's great to be in Seattle, especially on a weather like this.
So talk a little bit about the early days of the WSA. You were a member of the San Diego Spirit when the first league started, and you played how many seasons there?
Okay, don't test me now.
1, 2? How long was it?
I think it was 3. No.
This is what having 3 kids does
Well,
to you.
yeah. Well, one was born in 01, and it was played a year before that, so at least 3 or 4 years.
Perfect. And then, so this is the 3rd time around with the league. First of all, tell us what brings you to Seattle this weekend. Why are you up here? I know, but I'm going to let you tell the audience.
Oh, the obvious. I'm here to see my daughter. Katie Fawcett is playing for UW.
Nice. So
So-
Katie Fawcett's a freshman for us on the Huskies, and Walter and Joy made the big trek from Southern California to get up here to come see Katie before her birthday, and fortunate enough to be able to attend a Reign game tonight.
I know. It's great. A lot of soccer this weekend, and it's been a lot of fun to watch.
So what are your impressions of the game and the level so far? And you honestly, Joy, you can be honest. I know you're a good critic. Be honest. What do you think about the level so far tonight?
Had a near miss by Kaylin Kyle right there.
I think it's good. I think what I see that they need is the attack, like you said. I think them connecting with their forwards and the forwards making good runs and finding them and making the combinations up front. You just haven't seen that yet tonight. So I think if they can do that, we might see a little more opportunity on goal.
So wouldn't you, being a rostered player for the Seattle Reign, make it easier for you to visit Katie? Is there a comeback coming
I did
for you?
not get my invite. I missed the whole draft.
There were a lot of people that got drafted didn't know they were being drafted. You could have just jumped in.
But I'm not the goal scorer they need. That's for sure.
Well, I saw you score a lot of goals in college, but maybe your national team career was less of a goal scoring bender. But Joy, a pleasure to have you. I know I twisted your arm to come up here. You're not big on the microphone, so we all appreciate you taking the time to come say hello.
No, I'm
Stephanie,
glad
is
to
there
be
anything
here.
you want to say to Joy while you have your mom idol up here?
I say enjoy the baby. They grow so fast, and really, they bounce, and they are not that hard. They all survive, and they all
Not
turn
that
out
hard.
great. They will.
Steph, I think Joy just told you to suck it up.
I did not.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys both so much.
Ladies,
Enjoy the
thanks
rest of the
so
game.
much.
Yeah,
Thanks
appreciate
so much
it.
for stopping by. We appreciate it. Stephanie Cox and Joy Foss are good enough to join us here as we get the second half underway at Starfire. Scoreless as we are now in the 49th minute, the matchup between the Seattle Reign and FC Kansas City.
All right,
You need your own talk show, Leslie.
It was like Oprah up here for a while, but
that's
now I'm
right.
back. It's 48-57 on the clock. Seattle's had more play than they had in the first half on the attacking side. A couple of crosses and chances in the box, and I have not noticed, did you say, Tom, if they made any changes, or are we still on the same lineups for both teams?
I believe we are both teams with the same lineups to start the second half. All being chased down that time by Barnes. A bit of a nutmeg there on Lauren Cheney.
I'm not quite sure what Laura Harvey said at halftime, but I think it may have had something to do with to the effect of, let's go out and get after this team from the kickoff.
See a little more energy out there from the Reign. Farley.
It's my notes for
Cuellar.
There you
Some
see a
of
little
her
bit of the
ball skills,
razzle
yeah.
dazzle from Renee Cuellar. She's good on the ball. If she does that close to the 18 and gets by and shoots it, you're in trouble. Right there, it's okay.
Buzzkowski. Mewis. Back to Buzzkowski. Nice little chip pass. Boy, and that was nearly a handball. Some of the KC players calling for it.
I
Maybe a
couldn't
bit
tell
of a bullet.
I couldn't tell closely enough, but to the naked eye, that could have been a little bit of a problem. Happy that the Reign dodged that bullet. You'd hate to see a goal or a penalty given up, particularly when the Reign have really come out aggressive attacking-wise in this half.
Throw in for Seattle. Winners. Throw in for Kansas City.
Can we just change their jersey? What's going on over there? I thought that was what halftime was for. We've had a jersey change. I think she's wearing the same number still.
Here comes Kansas City. Far sideline. Good recovery defense by the Reign. Winters. And the tackle. Winters goes down. That foul will go against Kansas City.
Was that over that Christy Mewis?
Trying to pick up the number.
Yeah, it was Christy Mewis on the ball there. A little bit of a hard tackle. Winters is back up. It's only been a couple of minutes, but I would really like to see the Reign kind of maintain this tempo in the attack. They did a good job, I think, to spread Kansas City's defense out a little bit more by switching the ball a little bit more quickly as opposed to trying to cram it through a really crowded midfield. That's where they're going to have their luck if they continue to try to do that.
Fishlock. Nairn. Scott for Kansas City. Mewis.
We didn't have the opportunity to talk about the other results, but I did just see something come across Twitter, not Quitter, in the Boston game, the Boston Breakers beating Chicago Red Stars 4-1, that Sydney Leroux scored a hat trick. Congratulations to Sydney, outstanding.
Great player. Portland Thorns winning tonight against the Washington Spirit. Portland winning on the road 2-1. Mewis headed out by Kyle.
You saw Western New York this week on Wednesday pick up their first win of the season, 2-0 against Sky Blue.
They played defensively that time by Ellie Reed, but it results in a short corner taken by Kansas City. Mewis. High arcing left-footed shot, a little more dangerous than it looked when it left the foot of Lauren Sesselman. Goal kick for Seattle.
Seattle's got to do the same thing. They have to try to limit those opportunities for Kansas City, but they've got to go back to getting a hold of the ball and moving it around. They certainly don't want to get Michelle Betos playing with her feet with Renee Cuellar running at her inside the 6. They've got to play forward and try to find ways to penetrate and hold the ball up front.
Throwing coming up for Seattle.
That end up getting picked off by Kansas City's defenders.
There, Matthias unable to keep the ball in play for Kansas City. Barnes with the throw-in. Carly looking for Cuellar. Betos will scoop it up. Kyle back to Fishlock.
This is what needs to happen. They need to move the ball around. It's got to be cleaner than that. But they need to move the ball around the back more quickly. Get Kansas City chasing from side to side, and then find the times to penetrate and go forward. Long balls like that from Kate Dynas aren't going to work. The one she played right before that found a seam on the ground and they found back to switch it, that's where they're going to find better opportunities.
Matthias with the throw-in. 55th minute. And we are still scoreless at Starfire Stadium. Barnes, winners. And Scott comes up with it. Ahead to Cuellar.
This is about the most I've seen out of Desiree Scott, the central midfielder for Kansas City. She's a Canadian player that I just haven't really personally seen that much, but I've been impressed. She's kind of a worker in there. She frees up Lauren Cheney to get forward. Just kind of does a lot of the hard work and helps her team get possession and wins the ball back for them. I've been really impressed by her.
Ball kept in? No. It'll be a throw-in for Seattle. Certainly get the impression this may be one of those games where if one team can get a goal, that may be all we see tonight.
Yeah, you just don't ever know. If teams wear each other down and there's a little bit of fatigue and they capitalize, soccer's a weird game that way. Goals can come in bunches.
Foul against Christine Nairn as she grabbed at Matthias as she was on a nice run. And Nairn being warned that she was close to a yellow card.
Yeah.
Free kick Kansas City.
And this is the dangerous part of the field. They're going to put it down on the ground and play it quickly, but
Matthias
is
on target was Cuellar, but Betos in the right place. The save for Seattle.
Yeah, and that's just a simple restart. Put it down on the ground, play it wide, cross it in, and have an opportunity. And they had a great one. Fortunately for Seattle, it went pretty much right to Michelle Betos. She didn't have to move to save it. You can't, be that unfocused on a restart. They shouldn't be able to get that opportunity right off the ball that quickly in your half of the field.
Cheney unable to keep the ball in. Throw in for Seattle. Dynas playing it back to Betos. Zur Nice touch by Winters out to the far sideline.
It's a great linking pass by Winters. I'd like to see her use more to do that.
Tiffany Cameron playing the advantage. Nice move by Cameron just to keep the ball in, but nothing coming of it for Seattle.
And there you see the athleticism and the pace of Tiffany Cameron and skill. She got the ball down to get around her. There's a little confusion there. I think they played the advantage, but the sideline, the assistant ref threw her flag up. I thought it caused a little bit of a lull, to tell you the truth, when she threw her flag up, but then there was no call.
She gave a yellow card, right?
Looked like a card was given to Sesselman, possibly.
I'm not sure if she grabbed her jersey or hard to say, but a card was issued.
I believe that's the first card, first yellow against Kansas City tonight. Kyle, nicely done. Seattle claiming handball, no call. Farley. Cuellar brought down by Zur. Fishlock on the move.
And this is where Seattle's got to get numbers in and around the box, and they've got to seal the top of the box. Jess Fishlock doing a lot of dribbling, but she's 1 versus 3. And, 1, she's got to get the serve off, and then 2, the players on her team need to join her a little quicker so she can serve it sooner.
Unless your name is Messi, those 1v3s are tough to deal
you can
with.
see that out of her. I think she's got the personality to do it. She's doing a lot of work, I know that.
High arcing ball, Nairn. Barnhart rolls it out to Cheney.
There you see the veteran, calm, cool composure of Nicole Barnhart in goal, and just to lay it out to her teammate. Now they're in the other end quickly. I like the fact that Seattle's getting some attacking opportunities, and this is a good look to Nairn.
Nairn sticking with it.
Yeah.
Very good job, Buzzkowski.
Great darting run.
Clearing it out.
Great darting run by Nairn across the middle, and a great long ball by Fishlock to Sear. Put it right on a dime. Seattle's looking good in these opening minutes of the second half.
Goal kick for Kansas City. 60th minute. 2/3 of the way through here at Starfire Stadium. We are scoreless in a rematch of a game played a week ago Friday back at Overland Park, won by FC Kansas City 2-0.
I think one of the things I've noticed here in the second half is, we've made a lot to do about Lauren Cheney, who is a great player, and I thought that Keelan Winters did an outstanding job sort of tailing her around and marking her, not giving her a lot of attacking looks in the first half. You've noticed a few of the players maybe changing sides. I think Nairn changed sides. I think Cheney's a little bit trying to get away from Keelan Winters and moving off to the side, sort of those wide central channels, if you will. So they've definitely tried to free themselves up on both sides of the ball this half by making some positional adjustments.
Kansas City throw in. Mewis with a left foot. No one in the box to receive that cross from her. A nice decision that time. Larson keeps it in, but goes down in the process. Foul will go against Kaylin Kyle. Lauren Cheney picking herself up. Big summer for Lauren Cheney. She'll be getting married in July to another former great UCLA athlete. And Drew Holiday plays for the Philadelphia 76ers of the NBA, an outstanding player.
Yeah, I got to, we sat near Drew and his brother, Justin.
Former Washington Husky.
They were hilarious at the Germany World Cup. They were also, friends and families. They were quite a sight with their tall Uncle Sam hats that made them about 15 feet taller instead of, 14 feet taller than everybody else.
Left-footed shot.
Yeah. Some people would say that Nairn rushed that shot, and that's a shot she shouldn't take. Maybe she should have dribbled it and penetrated a little bit more. But that's a shot she can hit. She's got a great foot from distance, and on that left, she can get a hold of it. She just mishit that one, but that is a good range shot for her. And again, Seattle's already seen more attacking opportunities this half than I think they saw in the first half. I don't have the stats in front of me, but they look to be creating a little bit more up front.
Farley. Kyle diving in. Nice ball that time. Buzzkowski. A lot of room for Matthias. Beating Barnes. The cross, dangerous ball. And goal kick for Betos. Nice play that time. Nice service by Merritt Matthias.
Merritt Matthias out of the back has been a little bit of trouble for the Seattle Reign. I mean, Lauren Barnes is quick. She's a good defender. She's just a little bit of the short end of the stick on that one. A little bit of skill to get a cross off.
Former Aggie out of Texas A&M, Merritt Matthias.
Emily Zur and Ellie Reed did a good job of sealing the far post there and sealing off their runners. But that was an extremely dangerous box that skated across the entire goal mouth. Seattle's fortunate to have dodged one there.
Scott. Guys playing it back to Sauerbrunn. Sesselman with a long ball. Nobody there except Betos.
What I see Kansas City doing right now is out of the midfield, they're running players not just to the center, they're running players out to the flank to get it, they're running 1 and 2 midfielders up with the front line. At certain times, the Seattle back line has 4 and 5 people pressing on them. So they're not holding back Kansas City. They're trying to sneak one here.
Larson. Nice flick ahead, trying to connect with Kyle.
Not a bad idea to dish there and get on the turn. I'd still like to see Christina Larson have the option to drop it back to a midfielder that can play that ball facing forward as opposed to having to do the more difficult, which is to turn with it.
Farley ahead. Cheney with room. Nice little flick ahead. Cuellar overshoots the goal. Best opportunity in the second half for FC Kansas City, Renee Cuellar.
Yeah, and I thought Barnes was doing well to keep Lauren Cheney from getting that shot off. I thought she did a really good job defending. And I'll tell you, at the end of the day, Cuellar had a shot, but she had Keelan Winters draped all over her as well, just enough to put her off balance, so that one skied over the bar.
Dinah's looking for Cameron. Tiffany comes up with it.
Now we need to hold it in this side of the field. We haven't seen Seattle link passes in the front half. Doesn't have to be the home run ball to get a goal. Get numbers up and try to possess it here.
Not a good pass that time from Larson to Barnes.
It's the same thing. Christina Larson's a really good player, but she needed to drop that to Kaylin Kyle, who could play it facing forward as opposed to trying to turn and hit a ball into feet where a player's defended.
Very patient on the back line is FC Kansas City. 66th minute, scoreless. Matthias.
I haven't looked thoroughly enough at the schedule, but this is going to be an interesting dynamic with an 8-team league and travel and the way the schedules are set up to see how many back-to-back games team play, where they play at home against a team one weekend, like the Reign in Kansas City have done here, and you turn around and see the same team again within the week. It makes for an interesting dynamic. I think it makes for the dynamic we're seeing tonight.
Yeah, which is frustration.
A little bit of stalemate on both sides and a little bit of frustration from both teams.
Well, coming up next for Seattle, they will be playing on the road against Sky Blue FC in New Jersey. And it's a road game as well for Kansas City coming up next at the Western New York Flash. Both of those games on May 11th, so 1 week from tonight.
I think they've actually unpacked their bags and done their laundry once, but they got to pack those babies back up again.
The Reign has been busy.
This is where they have to take advantage of Kansas City. Is in transition when Kansas City is spread out. They've got to look, instead of holding the ball at the back, that's when they need to look to penetrate, try to play through them or around them quickly as opposed to studying at the back of the field.
Long ball intended for Cameron, well short. Kansas City turning it right back over. Kyle. Ahead to Larson. Kansas City takes over possession. Cuellar. Cheney into the box from Ewis. Farley. And Fishlock ahead to Nairn. Not sure what Christine had in mind with that ball, but it will be a throw-in for FC Kansas City.
Yeah, I think Christina Larson zigged when Nairn thought she was going to zag. She was running in, she thought she was going to stay wide, and it's just a miscue there. Again, things that'll get sorted out as the season goes on. But you'll notice if you watch Renee Cuellar, I think the difference between the two front lines tonight is exactly that. Every time Renee Cuellar gets the ball, if she can't turn, she finds a midfielder behind her right away to connect with. That time, Cheney defended very well again by Keelan Winters, but still, Cuellar looking to connect with the midfield right away as opposed to trying to turn herself if she can't.
Fishlock.
Better by Larson to find Kyle back. And now we're still in possession of the ball and a great switching ball.
Barnes. Nice touch by Barnes. And right there, things clogged up by 3 Kansas City players. Sauerbrunn to Scott.
This is where Becky Sauerbrunn is dangerous. She becomes this wild maniac attacking center back, and I'll tell you what, she's good at it. Anybody
Good
that
movement forward. Cheney back to Sauerbrunn. Back to Cuellar. Goal! Kansas City! Renee Cuellar, her 3rd goal on the season, her 2nd goal against Seattle.
And just absolute brilliant running and ball movement by Kansas City, and in particular by Becky Sauerbrunn out of the back. She comes from a center back position, overlaps on the right flank, plays a quick ball, penetrates on the dribble, and then just plays a spot-on ball to the center of the goal where Cuellar's waiting to finish it.
Goal in the 69th minute. Our first in this match in Kansas City with a 1-0 lead.
You know, I told you early on that Becky Sauerbrunn is fun to watch because she is so smooth with the ball, particularly for a defender. She's skillful. You know, I would like to give her coach at the University of Virginia, Steve Swanson, some kind of credit for that. I know he has absolutely nothing to do with her ability, but I do know he's listening, so I thought I'd throw that in there. But, you know, you could see that play developing, and it just stood out like no other.
Look at it right here.
And just picks her out, has her head up.
Kirsten Dahlstrom in for Christine Nate.
How much Betos could do on that.
Dahlstrom for Nairn.
So Seattle, in this situation, probably looking to get even more aggressive, pushing forward, and that has to make you very leery about the counterattacks
Yeah.
that are potentially there for Kansas City.
You know, they've made a change, probably for pace. Kristen Dahlstrom is a player out of Washington State University who's got good pace.
Number 25 for the Reign.
And now the Seattle Reign, finding themselves down a goal, need to, you know, up it a notch. If they want to bring this game level again, they're going to have to find a way to get one back.
Trying to pick up who Dahlstrom came in for. Larson remains in. Cameron as well up front. Ellie Reed trying to get it ahead to Larson. Good defense by Sesselman. Kyle chasing the ball down. Throw in though for Kansas City. Barnhart playing it out.
So with just under 20 minutes left, Seattle's going to have to press a little more. They can't sit back and just defend. They're going to have to get on top of Kansas City's backs a little bit, press a little bit more, try to force turnovers a little bit more.
Throw in for Seattle.
and get a little bit more urgency in their attack.
"18 minutes remaining in this match."
Absolutely beautiful night here. Beautiful night here in Seattle. Fans have come out. They're seeing great soccer at a high level. It only bodes well for the rest of the season home games to come.
And again, things will start looking much better for the Reign come June. The return of, or the addition really, of Hope Solo, and also Megan Rapinoe, who's currently playing for Lyon in France, due in June. There's Christine Nairn, who left the game as Kirsten Dahlstream came in for Seattle. That's
going to be a lot of blonde in the midfield when Pino comes back, depending on what Pino's hair is looking like these days. But Megan Rapinoe is in a class by herself. She's just a tremendous player. I love watching her play. She can play multiple positions. She's a leader. She's a competitor. She's a great teammate, and just a ton of fun to watch. So I know she's, it's going to be tough. Her coming off a long season at Lyon and coming over and playing the NWSL as well as having national team duty. But the Reign is going to, they're going to have a spark when she shows up.
From Laura Harvey talking about not only that added experience that you have when those national team players arrive, but their communication ability, how they direct the team on the field, how Hope in goal will direct that back line, and how Megan in the midfield can really orchestrate things for the Reign when she gets here.
Yeah, we talk about pressing. Keelan Winters is, coming out of the midfield to press the goalkeeper and press onto some of their backs. If they're going to press, they need to collectively press. They can't press 1 and 2 and 3 players at a time. They have to press 11 players at a time. We call that domino defending. When one person goes and then the other person reacts, and you just can't have that at this level. If they're going to press, they all have to press if they're going to try to turn the ball over.
Koskowski, a lot of room in the center of the field. Lewis. A nice quick touch by Cuellar. A little give and go attempt that time by Kansas City. Barnes trying to find Larson.
You have to hand it to Kansas City. Laura said it last week after they played them. It's a formidable midfield that they're playing against, and Scott and Cheney.
Fishlock.
Great work by Fishlock there.
And unable to find a teammate in the box. Larson the closest.
Yeah, if she does that hard work there, and then that last little bit's got to be a little bit better from her and a little bit better from her teammates, to be frank. She's got 3 players on her. They've got to show a little bit quicker so she can find them.
Kyle, but that ball might be taken away by Mewis, and she does come up with possession.
Yes, that's a train.
We are right up against a major train track here. Goes by Starfire Stadium on a regular basis. 76th minute. FC Kansas City with a 1-0 lead. Matthias unable to track that ball down. Throw in for Seattle. And a substitution for Kansas City. First of the night for the Blues. But check it, it's a substitution for Seattle. Second substitution will be Larson leaving the game.
I think it's probably Liz Bogus. Another one for creativity and pace. Another player out of the Pac-12 from Arizona State.
They're everywhere. Very tough conference.
As much as Amy Rodriguez said I didn't recruit her very hard, Liz Bogus I did recruit hard. She broke my heart.
How could she say no?
Out of Utah, very good player. She's very quick. Miscue there. Keelan was going forward and she wanted to give it back to her feet.
Lewis with the left foot. Like that was blocked by Zur.
I've been impressed with Zur. She's one of the Canadian players out of Illinois. Had a great career at Illinois for Coach Janet Rayfield, and she's a competitor as well. She's been tough on the tackle. She's been keeping a lot of the play in front of her. Not a lot has gotten behind her tonight. It's just with so much of the ball in Kansas City, it's going to be tough. We haven't really revisited it that much, but I want to point out again, for a lot of players, people that maybe didn't get to see it live, Becky Sauerbrun's run out of the back was something to behold.
Really
you do not see that a lot. Christy Rampone, very fast player, stalwart center back of the national team. She'll go on a little jag like that every once in a while. Anybody that got to watch Beckenbauer back in the day be kind of a true libero for Germany and get out of the back in an attacking manner. It's just fun to watch. You can be a really dangerous player on the field because there's typically no one to pick you up. And that's exactly what happened when Becky came forward, as Seattle's defense was in disarray because there was no one tracking her.
That decision on her part, really the difference in this game.
She made it look very easy.
Matthias ahead to Mewis. And she's fouled by Barnes. Easy call for the referee, Margaret Domka. And certainly with the lead, Kansas City not in a huge hurry here. Mewis. Good job maintaining possession. Plays it out to the far side. Nice move into the box, the right-footed shot. Betos hauling it in.
I think with about 12 minutes left, this is where you're going to see, one of two things happen most likely. Seattle is trying to press. This looks...
Like Fishlock down.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't know if she's got a cramp, but I was going to say about the whole team, they have done so much defensive running in this game that it's, the fatigue factor. With this kind of time left, do you have the legs to get forward? Do you have the legs to run on both sides of the ball? Because Kansas City's not going to stop attacking just because they got one goal. So you certainly don't want to give up a second one, but you've got to find a way to get your legs and get forward.
Seattle has used 2 of its 3 available substitutions.
I don't know, Tom, if they're going to ask us to do this again, but we've outdone ourselves with the cavalcade of stars. We're going to have to, I don't know what we're doing for the next game. We've got to start fishing around.
It's all on you, Leslie. You have the connections, so we'll put the pressure right back on you. It's been great. If you missed at halftime, Amy Rodriguez, Hope Solo, Stephanie Cox coming by, Joey Fawcett. So really terrific to bring some women who have made significant contributions and still are to soccer in the United States. Nice of them to share some time with us.
Yeah, and this is what I'll say is that everyone keeps saying about the league and the third time is a charm, and I've been super impressed with U.S. Soccer stepping up to the plate to take this on, and including the other federations with Mexico and Canada. But I'll say that there's only so much that they can do alone. We have to get behind this, women's soccer fans. If you want to continue to see the U.S. women, the Canadian women, the Mexican women of CONCACAF, be a soccer force in the world, because I'll tell you, the Japanese, the Germans are getting a whole lot better.
Yeah.
And we haven't won a World Cup in a little bit, and I know that doesn't sit well. Well, with Hope Solo, it doesn't sit well.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, my associate head coach, Amy Griffin, has a World Cup ring, and she's got a U20 ring as an assistant coach, and Hope doesn't have one. And she floats it in front of her face constantly. So you think she's competitive. She's going to train to get back, and her teammates are doing the same thing. I know Abby, having spoken to her in Germany and even after the Olympics, that she is, they feel like it's their personal mission, not just for themselves, but for this country. They want to win another World Cup for us.
Guinness with a header. Busy night for the Trains. Liz Bogus unable to maintain possession. Farley for Kansas City, taken away by Kyle for Seattle and sent right back to Kansas City.
I'd like to see Seattle try to play that ball that Kaylin Kyle played there. The idea behind it was good, but to Feet at this point in the game and at this place in the field going into the final third, she's got to play that ball through. She needs to play, the run was going through, she needs to play it on the other side of the defender. Just find a gap in between and at least get Kansas City defenders turned around facing their own goal. They've been able to defend a lot of Seattle tonight facing forward.
Fishlock back and up, seemingly moving fairly well after going down with what seemed to be a possible cramp. Fishlock. High arcing shot. Barnhart with the catch. 82nd minute. So every possession needs to be a valued one for Seattle. That foul will go against Cameron. Tiffany Cameron, multi-talented, also known by her performance name of Lady Spitz, I think.
You know what?
Spites?
It's something with Spitz. I
Spitz.
think it's you spit bars, Tom, when you rap. She's
You
a
know-
she's a rapper.
I'm a little behind on my rap verbiage, but she wrote and recorded the Rain Anthem, and they are playing that before home games.
Hey, how many other teams can say that?
Cuellar offside. Leading the league in that department coming in, and that gives you an idea. 5 offsides coming into this game, Leslie, just shows you how aggressive she is and how much she's targeted by her teammates.
Yeah. Kansas City, I think, is making a change here.
Trying to get the number. They did make a
Far side of the
substitution.
field, one of the midfield players off on the left.
Erica Timrak coming in, number 15. She has
Speedy,
checked
good
in.
player out of Florida, and Erica Timrak. That's not going to be, when you've got a little bit tired legs already, for them to put a player with her pace out there it's not going to be a positive for the Seattle Reign. They've got to find a way to neutralize her right off the bat.
Looks like it's Farley who went out as Timrak comes on. Cameron, bogus, firing blocked. Sauerbrunn, good defense by Becky. Timrak fouled from behind. Free kick coming up for FC Kansas City.
It's good for Seattle. I mean, it's a tactical foul in some ways because they're just the dribble penetration at that kind of speed. When you've been defending this much and you're this tired, it's tough. You got to slow them down some way. This far out, not so dangerous. Maybe give them a little teeny bit of a breather, catch their breath so they can go after it for the last 6-7 minutes.
Fishlock, nice ball to the near sideline. Barnes. To Kyle.
Smart there just to bump it back, and now they've got numbers in the front half of the field. This is where they have to be patient and keep it. They can't try to score right off the bat. Just keep the numbers, keep moving the ball. They can get something out of this.
Nice ball to Winters. Looking to Cameron, and look who's there, Sauerbrunn.
Yeah.
With a stellar defense.
You got to try to play it where Sauerbrunn isn't.
Into the box, Kyle almost got a head on it. See, that'll result in a goal kick.
A lot of people calling for a corner there. It was hard to tell. They both went up for it. It was hard to tell if it hit anybody or not. Seattle loses the argument on that one. Goal kick for Kansas City.
86th minute. FC Kansas City with a 1-0 lead. Fishlock trying to put some pressure on Barnhart. Sauerbrunn up ahead for Cheney. Dynas to Dahlstrom.
It's a good ball out of the back by Dynas. On the ground, right to feet.
Cameron unable to get there.
The idea by Dahlstrom to try to switch it was a good one. Just falls a little short. Or more correctly, a little long. If they can press here in the front half of the field, they've got to send numbers towards the throw. They can't let them out of the half now that they have them in this end. The time ticking on the clock. They've got to make a push here.
Jess Fishlock leading the game after putting in the maximum effort that she always does.
You're going to hear a big roar here. Coming into the game is a local standout, Lindsey Patterson. Played a lot of years with the Women's Sounders in the W League. Star out of Tennessee. Feisty, quick, creative. She's got a little motor on her. She might make something happen here late, but you got to applaud the effort of Jess Fishlock. She did a lot of work in that game.
Dynas trying to clear it, going off a teammate. Beto scooping it up. Gulfstream. There's a player out on that far wing. Back to Winners.
Ellie Reed made a nice run up the right side, and I don't know if the crowd noise or she didn't yell for it, but Lindsay Patterson, I don't think she saw her there. She had a great chance for 2v1 to get around that defender and get a serve off. But you can see the pace of Patterson. She's quick, she's comfortable on the ball, she wants the ball. She's really come in here late to try to make an impact.
88th minute. Seattle down by a goal. Bogus. Dynas ahead. Sauerbrunn with the clearance. Looking for Bogus. Liz Bogus tracking it down. And playing it out as she looked for Dahlstrom. Substitution coming up for Kansas City as Cuellar will head out after scoring the lone goal up to this point. Renee Cuellar, who early on in this first season proving to be one of the more dangerous offensive players in the league. Courtney Jones has checked in, number 8.
Courtney Jones is also not slow. As you'll notice,
look at that! Wow.
She's been brought on to not let Seattle's back line out of the back, and if they get the ball, she's off to the races. You got to beware. I mean, they can spring her at any minute. She's got just flat-out wheels.
Lewis, you're into the 90th minute.
It's a good tackle by Lauren Barnes. Maybe Seattle can make something out of it. They need to. They're running out of time to even this game out. They'd love to at least get a point at home.
Tiffany Cameron. Ball turned over. Looks like we're going to get 2 minutes of added time. Dynas ahead to Winners. Tackled, foul against Scott. And Winners shaken up. Left arm, left shoulder. Barnes to take the free kick. 2 minutes of added time.
Come on, keep
Winners.
It's a great ball delivered in. They've got to keep the numbers in now, and that ball's got to go right back in the box. They've got to find a way.
Barnes has a teammate in Winners. Dynas to Kyle. Kyle shoots, deflected off Sauerbrunn. Winners with a left foot. Stabbed at that ball.
Seattle's making their last push here.
Reed to Bogus. Slips. Dahlstrom trying to come up with it. Cleared out nicely by Kansas City. Barnes with a left foot. Player ahead, Dahlstrom. Sauerbrunn, last line of defense before.
Great run, great ball, and great defending. I think Seattle obviously would have loved to have the penalty or a call, but that was a clean a tackle as you're going to see. But great run and good effort by the Reign to make something happen here late in the game.
Substitution for Kansas City. Mewis will check out.
You know, it's been interesting for me, other than the amazing run by Becky Sauerbrunn that created the goal and the great clinical finish by Renee Cuellar. I'm starting to agree with Laura Harvey a little bit. Just very, very solid in every position. You know, and they bring people off the bench, and they're. I've been impressed by this Kansas City team. You know, and again, Seattle.
Situation where Seattle would hope to win a corner kick instead
Yeah.
of goal kick. Katie Kelly has come on for FC Kansas City. The Blues close to remaining unbeaten and would certainly feel like mission accomplished with their first road match to come away with 3 points.
Yeah, and I know the Seattle players, if they can't get to a draw here, and there's still a little bit of time left to do that, if they can't get to that, I think they're going to be disappointed, certainly, to not be able to win their first home game. But it's a little bit of the same old, same old. They have to take great stock in their ability to defend well as a team, and they've got to keep working hard to try to find that attacking rhythm and those goal-scoring opportunities and players that they're going to have.
The final whistle is blown. A Renee Cuellar goal in the 69th minute. The difference tonight at Starfire Stadium, a 1-0 victory for FC Kansas City. Now 2 wins, no losses, and a tie, 7 points, as they'll be playing on the road next week at the Western New York Flash. For Seattle, no wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie, so the Reign remain with just 1 point, as they had hoped to break through in the win column here tonight in their home opener. Well, before we wrap things up, let's start first of all, your thoughts on this Kansas City club, obviously getting it done here tonight, first road win, and the confidence just has to be building for this group.
Yeah, it does. You know, for them to be able to go on the road and win is always a confidence builder for any team, because travel isn't easy. And as you've seen, you know, Seattle coming out and really, I think, putting a pretty good foot forward tonight. You can see the disappointment in their faces right now, not getting the win. But they've kind of done tonight what they've done all along. They've worked hard. They've played well defensively, well enough to keep themselves in games. But something's going to have to give up front for them, you know. And I think that's where Laura's going to continue to keep trying to plug away. One of the things I'd say is, you know, I'd have to go back and maybe look at the game a little bit more thoroughly. But if you're not getting that many goals in the run of play, you probably should work on your restarts a little bit more and be dangerous on dead balls and try to figure out how you can draw fouls, create fouls, really work on corner kicks to generate corner kicks. So when you get them, you're dangerous. They've got enough big, strong players in the air that they could get better opportunities off corners to score. But they're going to have to try to figure out a way, you know, to find that attacking presence. And it's a little bit difficult with the personalities they have right now, and again, and some of the ones that they don't have, just the combinations that they're trying, but they'll get there.
Yeah. We see Laura Harvey addressing her team. Let's get away from the technical part of it and just talk about the psychological part of it. What are the challenges for a coach? And you've probably had young teams and you're trying to bring it together, and maybe things to start a season aren't where you would like record-wise. What's an important message to get across to your players so the heads don't hang too much?
Yeah, you know, you're talking to the coach who didn't win a game in 2005 after being in an Elite 8 team in 2004. So what Laura's talking about right now, and she is savvy and she's a good coach, she is going to accentuate the positives and tell them all the things that they did do well. And she's just going to keep them together as a group and talk to them about the things that, you know, to be honest, after a game, you don't want to say too much, because you want to be able to go back with a fresh look and analyze the game on tape and take the emotion out of it and come back to them with concrete things that they can work on. But from a standpoint of the mentality of the team and the morale of the team, my guess is right now that she's trying to do exactly that, is to not let them get their heads down and to know that she's on their side. She's with them.
First one can be the toughest one, as the Seattle Reign continue to look for that first victory in the National Women's Soccer League. Leslie, a pleasure to work with you tonight. Enjoyed it?
You as well, Tom. It's great to see you, and it's great to spend a nice, warm, sunny Seattle day and evening with you.
Anytime. We love it. No doubt about it. Final score tonight. Congratulations to FC Kansas City, remaining unbeaten, getting the 1-0 victory against Seattle Reign FC here at Starfire Stadium just south of Seattle. For Leslie Gallimore and our entire crew, I'm Tom Glasgow. Have a great evening, everyone.